We almost thought our night at Dark Harbor was going to be a disaster. Parking was brutal, but once we stepped inside the gates of Queen Mary, things started to look up. From the new maze entrance to the killer merch, here's exactly how things went. Welcome to Villains of Horror, your safe haven for all things horror attraction, horror movies, and if you like spooky stuff, trust me, you're going to love this channel. I want to take you through our night at the Queen Mary's Dark Harbor event. So this isn't our first time going to this event. We've been going since they reopened things back up after COVID, and it is one of our favorite events to go to. And we were even in the room at Midsummer Scream when they announced the new maze and all the new upgrades this year that was going to be taking place. So we were really excited to go to Dark Harbor this year and experience all the new differences that they were having. So to start things off, the night started a little bit rough. In the future, we're going to change things because we did get multiple days. We did the pre-sale of multiple days, so we're going to be going back a couple more times this year. But one thing I'm going to change for sure is we're going to always make sure that we pre-purchase our parking, because when we got in line to get to the main parking lot, the moment we got there, they sold out of parking for that parking lot. So it was only people who pre-purchased parking for that lot were able to park in there, and we already bought our early entry for the event. So once we got to the main parking lot and we weren't able to park, they told us to go to another parking ramp that was a bit further away, but there is a shuttle that would take you to the event. The negative thing about that is we drive a pretty large pickup truck and the truck wouldn't fit inside the parking ramp. I drove inside of it. I think the clearance was 6'9". I thought the truck could fit. I measured and it's about 6'8", but the antenna on top did scrape on something, so I just backed up and asked them where else could we go. They winded up telling us to go to some other parking area, but the only thing that we were able to find was the staff parking lot. And after talking to the person there, they had the radio over. It was a big whole thing. They did let us park inside the staff parking lot because we did pay for parking, and then we were able to take the staff shuttle bus to the event. It was a whole big ordeal. I don't know if we were allowed to do that, but we literally couldn't park anywhere else. We already paid for the parking, but they wouldn't let us park anywhere else. So it was a big ordeal. Looking back, I'm going to make sure that either we don't take the truck, we're going to take my wife's car, or we're going to just make sure we have the pre-purchase parking, because we got there pretty much at 7, like when it first opened up, and it was just a mess getting in there. But after that whole debacle, we got into the event. After taking the shuttle there, we had to wait in line. We couldn't use our early entry at all, which kind of sucks. We're out of that type of money, but it is what it is. The first thing that I noticed as I walked you through our time there was the entrance is different. At Midsummer Screen, they did talk about this, how one of the building structures that was there, which the maze breakout was part of that, which I'll talk about that in a second. It was different. So the entrance into Dark Harbor was slightly different. It looked nice. It still had the whole big theme. One thing I do like about that, when you walk in, there's stuff all over the place, and it really takes you into the new atmosphere, things like that. So once we got into the actual event and looking around, things were a little bit changed up, which I do like that. The first maze that we wind up doing was Breakout, and immediately I started to notice a trend with how things were going to go, but I'll talk about that in a second. So Breakout, that was one of the things that they talked about at Midsummer Scream quite a lot, actually, was how it's going to be different slightly. One of the buildings was gone, so they had to rechange the layout. I like this version of the maze. I will say I do think I kind of missed the way it was, because you walk through that one section where it was pretty cool before in the past, where it had this building. So I can see how it's just different. If this is your first time going, you won't notice the difference at all, but I still think it was a cool effect. One thing I did notice, because in that maze they did have the strobing light effect. They turned things up this year. This makes sense why you have to sign a waiver before you go into these places, because of these strobing lights. When you get to like the very front of it, you can't see at all. And so the whole story behind Breakout is, I believe you're breaking out of a jail cell. There's a lot of like Vecna, so like the nun, and some like spooky priest involved in this too. Not really sure how that goes together, but it's all kind of wound up together, and that's what you kind of experience throughout this maze. The next maze that we wind up doing was Feast, and it was a bit strange, the entrance, because you can only see the sign where it said like Fast Pass and VIP. The general like the GA line was off to the side. We had to ask the one guy, and he was like, "Oh yeah, this is the GA line, so you could jump in." There was like no one else inside the GA line. I think people didn't know where it was because there wasn't really many signage on it, but it was fine. So we basically like walked through that one and just went straight in. So that was great. So Feast, that's the one that they had when we did the the lights out event for Friday the 13th. So that one was there before. That one was just set up. So we went through that one. That was really cool. I'll show you guys how that one went. So the next maze that we wind up going to was Voodoo. This was the new one that they announced at Midsummer Scream. And at first I didn't really know where it was. So they have like a whole new section where I think they had it last year, kind of. It was laid out differently, but it's like the Voodoo Swamp area where there's like some food. You could do like the marshmallow roasting and stuff like that. So that's where the Voodoo maze was. So this is where I started noticing for sure when we were getting in line. There was a lot of people that had the Fast Pass line. The Fast Pass line was actually like longer than the GA line. They were still letting them go through quicker, but at this rate, like the Fast Pass line was just like massive. But we still were able to get in line for the GA and go through that maze. I'll show you guys what that maze looked like in some of those clips.
She won't make it.
Mother's grief, father's shame. Find my hidden token, reveal the right way.
That's why she said this way.
Token.
you just completely missed that.
Huh?
A person just jumped out, yeah. So yeah, my thoughts on the maze was I thought it was a cool maze. It was a fun time. Nothing really too big, you know. I thought it was a fun maze. We had to go through it again for me to really remember a lot about it. But fun time. It's a decent maze. You know, had a really good time through it. So then after that, we wind up going to the store that was there, looking at some merch. I wound up buying actually a Dark Harbor hoodie. It's kind of funny because I was looking for the one that had the black and red logo, but I found this one that just has like this off black and the hoodie is black. I wind up getting that. They had some legacy shirts from like a couple years past that were like $13. I think we winded up getting one of those as well. So that was cool. One thing to note, they didn't have like little drinks that you could buy inside of that store like how they had before. I think like last year you could buy like a soda or something like that from the store instead of waiting in like the long food lines. I was hoping that they had that, but they didn't. So I think after that I went and I found some coffee. I got Killer Coffee, which was actually pretty good. So I got the Killer Coffee. I think I got the it was like the hazelnut coffee or cinnamon, whichever one it was. It was pretty good. We got some coffee. After that, we got in line for infirmary. So the line for that one was the same thing how it was before with the other places, where it was longer for Fast Pass, but they were letting them go through more than just normal GA tickets. I mean, it is what it is. More people wanted to get the Fast Pass, which it makes sense because I feel like for this type of event, most people are probably going to go once and they want to just do everything. That's what we did our very first time. I think last year we bought VIP and Fast Pass. I mean, but this year, now that we have multiple tickets, it's fine. We can wait in line, and if we don't do something one day, we'll do it the next. But going through infirmary, this was a really cool maze. I'll show you guys what that was like. only thing to note about Infirmary was the maze was a little bit different. At the end, there's like a hallway that you're supposed to walk down, but they changed it. They had some characters down there or some like mannequins, but they didn't have us walk down that line. I don't know what happened. It made it a little bit shorter. I don't know if some of that other space was being taken up for other things, but yeah, that was different. Don't really know why, but it is what it is. But I will say it is very interesting being on the ship, going through the mazes, because everything is very cramped and corridory. Even for myself, I have to like really duck down, because in certain portions, like literally where the doors are, they'll hit me right in the face. So I have to like literally duck down and get underneath stuff and walk through. I mean, it's a totally different vibe. Even though this maze, they do change things up slightly, it's still like the same maze essentially. It's still like really fun, because every time you go, it is still like, whoa, we're going into like a haunted maze that's literally on a haunted cruise ship. Then after that, we wind up going to Lullaby. Now, Lullaby is a interesting, maze. The whole story is supposed to be like a little girl drowned inside of, I think the pool, because apparently the pool and on the Queen Mary is supposed to be like haunted in real life. So like they play up that aspect. It's always like someone dressed up as like a little girl running around the entire event. So this maze is on the ship as well. We went to Lullaby, which is always a good time. Layout slightly different from last year as well. A couple different scares and things like that, but it was still like a really cool event. One thing I do want to know, I believe they're still doing the speakeasies in the events or in the mazes, because when I was looking, it looked like there was some areas that there was a speakeasies, like a person was waiting if you have to give them like a coin to get in. But yeah, so that was a fun maze walkthrough.
Evil presence attempting to break into the world of the
And then one of the other things I didn't notice is that there was a whole other section near Big Top. It was a bizarre bar area where there was some stuff that was way over to like the end section next to Big Top, the maze. So Big Top was the last maze that we wind up going through for the night. It is a clown. It's like the ringmaster, like one of their mascots is there. Going through that maze is cool. It was a little bit different this year as well. There's like a ball pit that you can walk through. There's also this like tunnel where it spins, and that thing always gets me every single time. That one's just crazy. And it looks like they added another thing at the very end too, where it kind of like moves back and forward like this. So I mean, it's similar to like how at Not Scary Farm you have things like that. This one, for some reason, the spinningness to it and the maze kind of swaying, that thing is hard to walk through. So I could definitely see why you, once again, you have to sign a waiver because you can fall. And there's like a ball pit. You have to walk up through it. You could fall doing that by itself as well. And then, yeah, after Big Top, it winded up being around after like 12:02 in the morning. We were on our way out, headed back to the staff shuttle bus, because luckily enough, the bus driver who picked us up on the staff shuttle, the first time they told us, like, yeah, just take it back. This is where I'm going to pick you up at, so just come over here. So on our way out, we did stop at the one merch section that's like outside of the event, like just for the Queen Mary itself. We went in there, bought like a little rubber ducky, and then we wind up getting on the tram or the shuttle going back to the car. So it was a fun event, lovely time. It started off rough. I mean, it did kind of ruin, not really ruin, but it did put a damper on things at the beginning of it. But overall, the event itself, though, still very fun. We plan on going back multiple times this year, like I said. So I'm excited for that. I'm definitely making sure that we get prepaid parking for sure. And I'm definitely making sure that, I mean, we did still get there pretty early. Like, we got there at like 7 something. We were in line like to get in at like 7:11. I remember looking at the time, but I mean, everyone's just showing up at the same time, so it is what it is, but that's just one thing. It definitely put a damper on things. But speaking of events, if you want to see our very first time going to Horror Nights this year, check this video out right here. This was the opening night review. Subscribe for more, and see you over there.